greetings, guzzlers. It's the old jammy red roux Australian, but we're going Italian tonight. And guess what? We're having pasta. We're having linguine. Well, we're having linguine with something else, but it's not Her Holiness the Pasta Queen. So it's all right, boss. Don't get excited. Don't start going on about that bloody Pasta Queen again. Don't say I'm not doing the voice. I've told off 2 big times about doing the voice. I don't talk like that. So it's not the Pasta Queen, Her Holiness. This is old Gennaro's. Now, this is a book, a cookery book, he wrote pretty much in celebration of this thing, a lemon. In his case, particularly Amalfi lemons. I've no idea where these lemons come from. Probably India. How do I know that? I'll tell you why in a minute. But anyway, he's very passionate about the area he grew up in and everything else, and he wrote a whole cookbook about using Amalfi lemons. So this is his recipe from his book, Vibrant Italian Recipes Celebrating the Lemon. I think it just says limon as the main title, but anyway. And this is Linguine con Pesto al Pistacchio e Tonno. It's got tuna in it, and lemon, and a pesto. So anyway, I've done too much chatting to begin with. Just get liking this video, get subscribing. Don't normally say all that shit, but I'm saying it now. But we're going to make the pesto first. I've got a saucepan with some boiled water in it. We're going to be boiling that again in a minute. I've got a pan to cook my tuna in as such. I've got my wine. Got my wealth of ingredients, and actually there's not a wealth of ingredients. So let's get making Gennaro's lemon pasta. Excuse me, I'm eating my nuts. You need pistachios. You want about 200 grams of pistachios shelled. And unfortunately, it came with some extras. So I've weighed out my 200 grams. Now, we're going to make the pesto in a blender. You can do it in a mortar and pestle if you want to do it. Too much faff in it. So I've got my nice new blender. Well, I say new, it's a bit old now, isn't it? This is even older, but it's not quite big enough. So, into this, I'm hoping this blender can cope with this. If not, I'll have to, well, never mind. So we're going to put those 200 grams of pistachios. He says, try not to drop them every bloody way out, as he just has. Into that blender, and then you'll want about half a dozen or so fresh basil leaves. In they go. We want the zest of 1 lemon. Cool. Excuse me, pistachio on the floor. Better pick it up. What are you telling me off? Should be saying, don't get that fighting. Now we're going to want the juice from this later. At this stage, in the pesto, we're just putting the zest. And we will actually want a bit of the zest later as a bit of garnish. So, since this is really about the passion of the lemon, I thought I'd better tell you a bit about lemon. Lemon is an evergreen tree in the citrus genus. But the lemon is actually a hybrid. It's a hybrid of the citron and blood orange. And earlier I said to you about, this probably came from India. I mean, it could come from anywhere in the bloody world, I don't know. The reason I said India, because currently most of your lemons come from India. How many is it? I did have it written down somewhere, I can't see what it is here now. But yeah, the majority of lemons are grown cultivated in India. So, oh, it's hard work, isn't it? This lemon feels a bit soft. I thought it was a nice big lemon, more typical of the type that Gennaro uses. Is it Gennaro Contaldo? I don't know. Big friend of Jamie Oliver. I think Jamie Oliver was one of his proteges, and they're big friends today. But this is a Gennaro recipe. Right, so we just put that to one side. Okay. And by the way, I said to you, this has got tuna in it. This is good old fashioned, and we'll keep that because we'll need that in a bit. Canned tuna. We're not talking about tuna steaks, fresh tuna or anything like that. Good old canned tuna. Love the stuff, I do. I've already drained 3 cans. For 2 of you, you might want to get away with 2, but the pack of Linguine was a bit bigger than what you want for 2, but anyway. Then you're going to want a garlic clove. If you're not too keen on your garlic, you can cut it back to half a clove, but sod that. We're having a whole big one. Had to buy some fresh ones today. He's just trying to cut his hand off. So I've peeled that. I'm just going to roughly chop that and that'll go in there. And then what I've got here is probably getting on for about 50 grams of Parmesan. He's also very passionate about his Parmesan. And we're just going to grate that in there as well. Right? So I'm just going to roughly chuck that in there. I'm going to grate that in there. And then we'll add the other ingredients. I've got a nut stuck in my teeth. It's driving me mad. So there you go, there's Parmesan and that in there. And now in here I've got 160 mils of extra virgin olive oil. And then I want 140 grams of mils, or grams, don't matter, does it? Of warm water. Okay, in that goes. Hence you can see why, excuse me, I didn't think, where's the lid? Oh, there it is. I didn't think my little blender would be big enough, and it wouldn't have been. Like I say, you could do this in a mortar and pestle if you want. I've got my big bugger, my mojito, whatever it is, the Mexican thing. But I haven't really properly seasoned that yet. So, that's my lemon squeeze, I'm going to need that in a bit. And what we're now going to do is just blitz this up, alright? Quite how coarse you want it, it's up to you. But we want it a fairly smooth pesto. This is where we find out whether the blades are too iron, don't get one of the nuts. Did you know Christopher Columbus introduced the lemon to America? Well, you do now, because I just told you. Lemons, like I say, probably originated around in the area of India. And about the 2nd century AD, they moved into, well, they didn't literally move, someone took them to Europe. But then, like I say, Christopher Columbus, about 1493, took lemons with him. And now they're grown in Florida and, well, loads of places. There you go, a little bit more sweet. I'm just going to blend that. My pesto's done, show that in a minute. But I've just put that pan of water back onto boil. Now, Her Holiness says don't put the salt in to begin with. Wait till it comes to a boil and then add some salt. Just starting to get there. Okay, so I'm going to add a generous pinch of salt. Okay, and then when that gets to the boil, I'm just going to turn it down a bit. There we go. So we're just going to let that turn to a nice little rolling boil. There's my pesto. As I suspected, I think some of them nuts were getting caught underneath, and it kept laughing. Oh, it's there! And then some nuts fell down. Anyway, yeah, don't want your nuts falling down last minute. So my pesto's done. Now there's more than enough pesto there. That will keep in the fridge if you cover it over for about 3 days, apparently, called Gennaro. So what we're going to do is I've already emptied those cans of tuna and drained them. But we're sort of going to warm them up a bit and flavour them with olive oil and garlic. So the garlic I had, a couple of big bulbs, been a little while, and I said to the wife, I think these are a bit on the old tired side. They don't look very good. Throw them out. We bought a great big bulb of garlic, fresh today in Sainsbury's. So there you go. There's the first one I cut open. Look, mouldy inside. There's the second clove with it. Mouldy. That's a lot of good in it. So anyway, I have got some garlic here. You want about a clove or two. You know me, I like my garlic, so I always put extra in. So I'm just going to peel that, and then we're going to put that in a minute through the old garlic crusher. You can chop it finely by hand if you want. Depends how keen you are on chopping. Can't be asked. I'm going to use my garlic crusher, and then I have to wash it up. But never mind. Hey, do you know what I said? I'm eating some nuts. Can you notice they're gone? No, I haven't scoffed a bloody lot. My beloved, she whose name I, well, not so much name, she's whose voice I do not take the mickey. Oh, slipping. I did warn her. I did say you do realise you're asking for retaliation here. She came in here, got me to open a bottle of Prosecco, which is fine because it is an Italian dish. Yeah. And then she, oh no, actually, you'll know why. That's right. She said, "Can I have some of the pistachios?" I said, "Take the lot if you like, darling." She said, "All right, I will." I did. I said, "You didn't have to take it. You could have said, oh no, I'll leave you some." Oh, I thought you'd already had some. She said, and we still walked out with the bowl. I said, I might slip up later and tell her voice. So, what we want to do now in this pan here, I'm going to put it over here. I can't quite fit in there. Put it in there. Made that wire. I'll put about 2 tablespoons of virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil in there. And I'm just going to, come on, turn on your bugger. Just put that on a low heat. I'll warm that up. I'm a bit worried about that. Right, let me just do a bit of adjustment. There we go. And then, let me go, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crush that garlic into there, and we're just going to cook it for a few minutes. And then we're going to add the tuna. Now, in the meantime, hang on the floor, you little shit. This bag here has about 300 grams in it. I'm going to put most of this bag into that boiling water, okay? And we just cook that. Don't have to eat it all, do we? And we're just going to cook that for about 3 minutes once it gets back up to the boil. That we're waiting on, and we'll be adding the garlic in a minute. Right, the oil is hot. So at this point, like I said, I'm just going to, where's that now? Just going to put that garlic in there, and we're just going to gently fry that for a few minutes because we want to get the old flavour in there. 1747. Lind. James Lind, doctor, was trying to. I got me pasta queen spoon. I mentioned pasta queen because the wife is not in good favour. She ate all my nuts. So I'm just going to give that a little mix for a bit. So James Lind was trying to find a way of getting round the big problem sailors had. You know, these long distance sailors, as it were. Well, everybody long distance then, didn't they? Scurvy, and he didn't know about vitamin C. No one knew about vitamin C, but what he sort of discovered was that if he gave or made sure sailors had a regular ration of lemon or lemon juice, they didn't get scurvy. And as we now know, that is simply because it's a lack of vitamin C that causes scurvy. And by giving them lemons, I use me pasta queen tongs. Just going to give that a little mix. I'm just going to turn that down a minute. That's up to the boil now. Like I say, we're just going to cook that for 3 minutes. I've got my colander there to drain it. Right, I think that's ready. So in we go now with that tuna. Oh, I love tuna. That used to be my treat when I was a kid. Mainly at primary school. Which, I don't know quite what they call that in America, primary school. It's the one before high school. It's for like the little kids. And we used to get school dinners, but when you went obviously on a school trip, you didn't get school dinners, you had to take packed lunch. And my treat, you didn't do them very often. And I did come from a poor family. But my treat was tuna sandwiches. And you have a tin of tuna, you mix it with some vinegar. That's in the days when malt vinegar was proper malt vinegar, not the dodgy version it is today. With a nice sort of acetic tang to it. Some salt in it, and then 2 slices, or 3 slices, 4 slices, whatever, between 2 slices of white bread and butter. Get down, Shep. That's getting a bit vigorous, that. I think that might just about be there, to be honest. And just going to turn that up a little bit as a result. And that was sort of one of my treats. And that and a cold boiled egg, hard boiled egg. Anyway, so a lemon basically gives you 64% of your daily value of vitamin C. Right, that's just coming up, starting to bubble a little bit. So I'm just going to take that off the heat. I'm going to turn the heat off of that. You know. And so obviously the lemon, the humble lemon, we use it for the juice. We use the zest in cooking. We even use leaves, the lemon, you know, leaves from the lemon tree, in making a sort of tea, a lemon tea, but also in flavouring cooked meats and seafood. Not that I've ever done that. Anyway, what we're now going to add to that is some of this pesto. Okay. Sort of big gap under there. Well, that tastes right. I'm just going to lightly mix that in over the heat. I might add a little bit more in a minute. Now, this will end up getting blitzed quite fine. If you want it to be a little bit more nutty, but it's trouble is that Ninja blender. It was a bit all or nothing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drain that linguine. Right, so there it is. I added a little bit more pesto. I'm now just going to grind in some fresh pepper, fresh ground anyway, and a little bit of salt. Okay, the pasta there is drained, so I just want to mix this through and warm this all through. I did taste that pesto. It does taste very strongly, to be honest, the pistachio. I know there's a lot of pistachio in it, but to be honest, it tasted more pistachio-y than most pesto I've had. Although, is that because most of the other pestos use pine nuts, actually, thinking about it? Oh, there you go. So yeah, so just warming that through. I've run out of wine. We're a bit late tonight. Oops, I've run out of wine now. Because we went to watch a band. Our local town had a bit of a festival on, a river festival, and a band that I first saw probably more than 10 years ago. Still sort of in touch with one of the guys in it. A band called Special Branch. They're R&B and stuff like that. Really good. We unfortunately don't ever really get a chance to go travel out, even though they're sort of semi-local. To you Americans, that your classmates like next door, to us English, it's like a fucking day's hike out to go to some of these places that are only up the road. Not because it's so far away, it's because we're so fucking lazy. You know, you just get in your bloody cars and or your trucks or whatever, off you go. We go, oh dear, that's a bit of a long way. That's going to be 30 minutes driving. Anyway, I change That's an aside. So we've got our mixture of tuna and pesto. Now I think that looks a little bit more pesto heavy than theirs was, but simply it was because of the amount of linguine I've got here. Okay, so I'm going to use that linguine. Let's get that out of the way. Let me trig it out of the way. And I just want to toss this through. Okay, so we want to obviously get all that linguine. Actually, at this point, I'm just going to turn the heat off. We just want to get that linguine all completely coated in that pesto and tuna mix. He talks about using tin tuna, which is what we did, and he talks about putting the chunks in. Well, I don't know what tin tuna he has, but it does tend to fall apart. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's the flavour that counts, flavour. So I'm just going to carry on. Oh, I'm sweating. It's hot work here over this stove. I've gone Yorkshire again. I meant to go Italian. Actually, I'm watching a series on telly, 1923. And one of the heroes is currently stuck in Italy. I think he's in Sicily, actually. I'm not sure, but anyway, he's Italy. He has a lot of bad luck, that guy. But anyway, we're just going to toss that through. Turn the heat off and it don't matter, does it? Ooh. Now, you're going to want a lemon because you want some lemon juice, but you're also going to want a bit more zest, and you're going to want a bit more parmesan. So you want that as well. Oh my god, this is hard work, this pasta dish, isn't it? Actually, in my days gone by as a teacher, I'll carry on tossing this while I tell you this. We used to use lemons and other citrus fruits for that matter, but primarily just use lemon for a couple of little scientific experiments. One of which you used it to make a battery, and the other was to make invisible ink. And actually it was genuinely used as invisible ink for a long time. You basically wrote it in lemon juice, and like when it dried you couldn't see it, but when you heat it, and this was kids used to always set the bloody paper on fire. I'm sure they did the bloody thing deliberately. Little bastards that they were, little bastards. But if you heated it gently, what's right on it? Oh. It's sorted, I'll tell you. We're on about a third, or start of about a third or fourth heat wave here. And we've heated it gently enough that suddenly the words would appear darker. Right, I think we're just about ready to serve up. So we're going to want some parmesan, lemon juice and lemon zest. Oh, and you ladies, if you want some blonde hair or blonde highlights, use lemon juice and then go out and sit out in the sun, and the citric acid acts as a bleach and you'll get blonde highlights. There you go. So you're paying about 500 quid at the bloody hairdressers. Did you hear that, missus? So this is where we're just going to serve it up. Okay, I did have a pasta spoon, didn't I? That spaghetti spoon. But the little bastard decided he didn't like living on the side. He wanted to live on the floor. And that's where it is currently. Well, no, it's not. It's now currently in the sink because I had to pick it up and clean the bleeding mess up. Anyway, so just add a portion to a plate, and then I'm just going to give it a little gentle squeeze of some lemon juice, okay, and just going to give it a little bit of lemon zest. Got to use this one because the other one went on the floor as well. The one that I used for me zesting. Oh, mustard. So, in Indian culture, Hindus, they sort of semi-revere the lemon. Some of the Indian gods are depicted with lemons. Actually, I did find out that apparently they said the ancient Egyptians did. Oh, what's that on there? Get off of there. You don't want to be on there, do you? No, I don't. Look at the messy bugger. But to be honest, you look at the paintings where they go, this is where they're holding lemons, and you think, well, who knows lemon? But in India, they did revere it. It's a symbol of health and wealth and abundance. But equally, apparently, gets rid of negative energies. What am I looking for? Oh, Parmesan. That's the one. And so finally, on top of that, we're just going to add a little grated. I know there's a fair bit of Parmesan in there, but let's just add some fresh Parmesan. Yeah, so they believed it was good for getting rid of negative energy. And when you first got your first car and you were about to drive it, they'd put a lemon underneath each wheel and you drove it and squashed it. And that apparently meant that you wouldn't then have an accident. So there we go. There's our Linguine con Pesto al Pistacchio e Tonno. It's pesto and tuna with linguine. Let's try a bit. You definitely get the lemon. I think the linguine is a little bit cooked a bit too much. You might want it a little bit more al dente. But you're still getting that pistachio flavour through, but the lemon's just taking the edge off it. That is beautiful. Well done, Gennaro. I know typically you should start to do this with like a white wine, but that's Gennaro's Linguine with pistachio pezzo with lemon and tuna, and it is bloody ace. Make it.